Monday Health Minutes, sponsored by Valley Health.
Hi, I'm Melanie Schaefer. This is Monday Health Minutes with Valley Health. We all want our children to be healthy, and heart health is definitely part of that. Even children can have heart issues. So how do you determine that, and how do you get the help that you need? We're talking with Dr. Christopher Mascio from WVU Medicine Children's, a new partner of Valley Health, providing pediatric cardiac care in this region, about that today. Thanks so much for being here, Dr. Mascio.
Thanks for having me, Melanie.
Let's start off with, what are some of the common heart problems that children can have?
So heart problems affect about 1 in 100 births. There are 30 to 40 to 50 congenital heart issues. Some are very simple and don't cause many symptoms. Some of them are as severe as the heart has 3 chambers instead of 4, and so things like hypoplastic left heart syndrome, tetralogy of Fallot, AV canal, patent ductus arteriosus.
Those are big names.
ASD, VSD, yeah. So they can be simple holes in the heart. Some of the blood vessels can be small. So there's really just a very large variety of issues that kids can have.
And 1 in 100 is more common than I would think.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the most common congenital defect. Heart defects are.
So what would give parents a clue? What are some of the symptoms that they could look for, or their pediatrician could catch, that think they might need further investigation into it?
Yeah. So commonly murmurs are heard by pediatricians, and that's probably the most common, or certainly one of the more common reasons that they show up in a pediatric cardiology clinic. Not all murmurs are bad. Sometimes it's just a flow of blood that is heard, but many children are not cleared to play sports unless they have this murmur evaluated. So that's something that we certainly do. In babies, most serious heart defects are picked up shortly after birth. But if not, small babies that are just born, they have trouble feeding, so they breathe fast, they don't feed well, they don't gain weight. Those are the common things that we see in the really young patients.
Sometimes these aren't diagnosed until later in life. When you're teenagers or young adults, what could parents be watching for? Because sometimes we have these terrible stories of teens that unfortunately succumb to cardiac issues and no one ever knew about it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So, some of the more silent heart defects, parents and also patients may notice that they're not able to keep up with their peers. So perhaps they play a sport and they don't seem to have as much energy as before. They're not able to keep up on the playground. Those are some of the more common things we see in the kids that are older.
Let's talk about options. Once you discover that your child does have a pediatric cardiac issue, what are some of the treatment options that are available?
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, some murmurs need nothing done. The heart is structurally normal, and they can be discharged from the pediatric cardiology clinic. Some issues are treated with medications. If there is a structural heart issue, say a hole in the heart somewhere, or a blood vessel that's opened that should not be opened, often these can be taken care of in the cardiac cath lab. So that does not mean open heart surgery. That means going through a vein in the leg. Our docs are able to close a hole or close a blood vessel that way. And then some of them, of course, come to me and we have to do open heart surgery. But kids do very, very well with that, and so there are really lots of options out there.
Yeah, it's when you say it's simple hole in the heart, that doesn't sound like a simple thing to a parent for sure. But in the realm of things, it can be dealt with.
Right.
What about lifestyle? How much does lifestyle play a part for your children? I know we all need to be healthy and moving and aware of weight and diet. Does that play a part for pediatric patients as well, and how can parents help facilitate that?
Often the functional capacity of a child that has a heart defect, ultimately depends on the heart defect. So, but I'll say that even children that have a 3-chambered heart instead of a 4-chambered heart, many of those kids, or most of those kids, go to school, run around on the playground. Many participate in sports. I've seen some grow up and start their own families, and so we just try to get them to the best point in their own life, and try to encourage the parents to not put any limitations if we don't have to.
Yeah, it's a journey, and there's lots of wonderful things ahead. Dr. Mascio, thank you so much. It was a great conversation.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for checking in for Monday Health Minutes.